All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're taking on an epic journey, a story about one of the most influential civilizations the world has ever seen, ancient Greece.
And really, this whole explainer, it all comes down to one single fascinating question. How did this small land of islands, how did it change the world forever? How did these people on this rugged piece of land end up laying the groundwork for so much of what we know today? Well, let's find out.
So, where do we start? Our journey begins right there, in the ancient Mediterranean. This civilization was, and I mean this quite literally, born from the sea. It was totally shaped by the waters that surrounded it.
I want you to just picture it for a second. A beautiful land full of sun-baked islands and these incredible mountains, all just sitting there in the middle of that brilliant blue Mediterranean Sea. This is where it all starts.
Okay, so to really get this, we've got to travel back in time. And I mean way back. We're talking about 4,000 years ago. To put that in perspective, that's right around the time the last of the Great Pyramids were being finished up in Egypt. That's the kind of time scale we're playing with here. It's huge.
Now, one of the first things you have to wrap your head around is that ancient Greece wasn't a single country like we think of one today. Not at all. It was actually a collection of these powerful, independent cities called city-states. Yeah, you heard that right. A city that was like its own little nation, with its own government, its own army, the whole deal.
But here's the thing. Even though they were all independent and often rivals, they were all, fundamentally Greek. It's kind of like different teams playing in the same league. They might be fierce competitors for sure, but they all speak the same language, they believe in the same gods, like Zeus up on Mount Olympus, and they pretty much share the same culture.
And out of all these different city-states, these different teams, two of them really rose above the rest. They became the main characters in our story, the two superpowers that would basically define this whole era.
And these two, they could not have been more different. It's like night and day. On one side, you've got Athens. We'll call it the city of ideas. This is where democracy was invented. They loved thinking, learning, philosophy. Guys like Socrates and Plato. And then you've got Sparta, the city of soldiers. Their entire world, from the moment a child was born, was focused on military training and discipline. Their whole goal was to create the bravest, toughest soldiers on the planet. Oh, and a quick but really important side note on that whole democracy thing in Athens. As revolutionary as it was, this idea of rule by the people didn't exactly mean all the people. We're talking about free, adult men. Women, slaves, foreigners, they were left out of the picture.
So that brings us to the big question, right? Who is more powerful, the thinkers or the soldiers? It's the ultimate showdown, and it's this very rivalry that, believe it or not, is going to push Greece into its most brilliant era.
Yeah, that competition became the fuel for what we now call the Golden Age of Greece. We're talking around 500 BC, and Greek culture just explodes. It's an explosion of ideas and achievements that, seriously, are still echoing today.
I mean, just think about what came out of this period. You've got democracy, this wild idea that citizens should actually vote on how they're governed. You've got philosophy, with thinkers asking these huge questions like, why are we here and how should we live? They invented theater, comedies and tragedies performed for everyone. And of course, the Olympics, a massive festival every 4 years to honor the gods. It was just an absolutely incredible time to be alive.
So the Golden Age was all about this rivalry between cities. But that's all about to change. The whole story is about to pivot because of the ambition of one single legendary person, Alexander the Great. And his dream wasn't just to control Greece. No, he wanted to take everything that made Greece great, its ideas, its culture, and spread it across the entire known world.
And then, one man changed everything. He was a brilliant general, absolutely relentless, and he was about to do way more than just win a few battles. He was going to redraw the map of the world.
The sheer scale of what he accomplished is, it's just breathtaking. Just look at this. He leads his army out of Greece, sweeps down into Egypt, then hangs a right and takes on the entire Persian Empire. And he doesn't stop. He keeps pushing east, all the way to India. And get this, he did it all in about a decade. He built one of the biggest empires the world had ever seen. Now, after he died, his empire split apart pretty quickly, but his real legacy, that was permanent. See, he didn't just conquer with swords, he brought Greek culture with him. Greek ideas, Greek language, Greek art, it was now everywhere. And this started a whole new chapter, the Hellenistic Age, where Greek culture mixed and mingled with local traditions for hundreds of years.
But, as we know, empires don't last forever. The Greek kingdoms that came after Alexander started to weaken, fighting with each other. And while all this was happening, a new, super-disciplined power was rising up in the West, just watching and waiting. And that new power, of course, was Rome. The Romans were incredible engineers, incredible organizers, and they had an unstoppable army. And the thing is, they loved Greek culture. They admired the art, the philosophy, they even adopted the gods. But they also wanted to own it. And by 146 BC, that's exactly what they did. Greece was conquered and became just another province in the massive Roman Empire.
So, is that it? Is that where the story of ancient Greece just ends? Did it just disappear? No way. Not even close. In fact, what happened next is maybe the most interesting part of the whole story.
It all has to do with this idea called cultural assimilation. Instead of Greece being wiped out, it was absorbed. It's like the Romans were a giant sponge. They took the Greek gods and just gave them Roman names. They copied Greek buildings. They made Greek philosophy the core of their entire education system. So the old saying is true. In conquering Greece, Rome was actually conquered by it. It became Greece's greatest student.
And that is what makes this story so powerful. It's this incredible tale of heroes, philosophers, and athletes, and the ideas they came up with, the beautiful buildings they created, they still influence our world today. Their legacy isn't trapped in some old history book. It's in our language. It's in our government buildings. It's in our stadiums. It's baked into the very way we think. So the real question isn't if ancient Greece is still with us. The real question is, where can you possibly look and not see it?
Hello, my dear friends! If you enjoyed today's adventures, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to receive all the fun and exciting new stuff.